Welcome back. Yep, I'm going to talk about WrestleMania. So on the weekend, there were 20 hockey games. There were 11 on Saturday, 9 on Sunday, and I had to watch every single one of them. But I noticed there was no point in time where there were so many games on that I had to watch some on the computer. So I can watch up to 6 games on the TV, switching around. And I thought, all right, I'm going to watch WrestleMania. Sportsnet Plus, I can watch WrestleMania. I watched all 8 hours. So while I was watching 20 hockey games, I also watched 8 hours of wrestling. So there you go. And I was honestly very, very entertained. I do wish that AEW was shown on Sportsnet here in Canada. It's on TSN, and I don't have the paid service through TSN. And even with the paid service from TSN, I don't think that covers AEW pay per views either. So, but I do want to do a video talking about AEW and WWE because it does feel like right now WWE has a game plan, and it feels like AEW is just kind of winging it. And I think this WrestleMania is a perfect example of that. So, got a marker here where I might want to talk about some of these things and whatnot. You know what? I'll put the marker down. I don't know if I'm going to need it. I wanted to have the black marker just in case. But WrestleMania started with Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley's a face. I'm sorry. I know Judgment Day is supposed to be a stable of heels, but they're very likable people, so it makes it very difficult to hate on them. Even the backstage sketches are just great. Once you threw in R-Truth, it just made it even more entertaining. But Rhea comes out. They did have Motionless in White there, playing her out, which had to be great for her and great for the band too. I'm sure Motionless in White got all kinds of people listening to their music right now who didn't know they existed before they were singing Rhea's song. Becky does fail in this, but the match went 17 minutes and 5 seconds. And considering the run time of some of these matches, they really gave them the time to shine. Rhea retains because she had to. As much as I've loved Becky Lynch's work for many many years, Rhea's it. She's absolutely it. Her reign with that title, I think, is going to end up in around the same time as like Roman Reigns' title was, or title reign was with the undisputed title. Every time I hear undisputed title, I think of the question of if it's an undisputed title, what's all the fighting about? But at any rate, it's an old joke, very very old joke. But I thought that was a great match. Then they went to the one I wasn't as excited about. So A Town Down Under. I don't like the name. Just gonna say straight out, I don't like the name. It's kind of clumsy. Awesome Truth, which is a great name. Judgment Day, DIY, New Day, and the New Catch Republic. I don't know how long the New Catch Republic's gonna go because Pete Dunne just looks kind of cranky. He kind of looks like he wants to turn heel. So I don't know how long that's gonna go on. But at any rate, and I know that's just his character as well. I remember Done Well from NXT UK. So A Town Down Under wins the SmackDown titles, I believe, and Awesome Truth win the Raw titles. Simon Miller for weeks have been talking about how it was clear that one tag team was going to win one title and one was going to win the other. Makes sense. Makes sense to have two different tag team champions, only if you're going to build the tag division. The good news is Triple H is in charge. So Triple H came out and said, all the wonderful things before WrestleMania started on day one. And on day two, Stephanie came out. And I have to say, I was so proud of Stephanie coming out that she outlasted her dad, who now everybody seems to understand just how horrible Vince is. So I am very, very glad to see Stephanie McMahon back in a WWE ring. I think she's fantastic. I think it's amazing that she is such a good person with her dad being her dad and all. But at any rate, the opening of both days was great. This match went 17 minutes and 25 seconds, the tag match. I wasn't nearly as invested in it. There were a lot of spots, obviously, ladders and all that, so there was a lot of ladder spots that went on. But I wasn't as invested in it as I was in the women's match before, or other matches that happened then either. Then you have Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. This one went 11 minutes and 5 seconds. If Dominic's in a match, I assume he's going to eat the pin. I assume he's the one that's going to be looking up at the lights and taking the 3 count. Pretty sure that's what happened here as well. It doesn't really make a huge difference. Might have been Santos that ate the pin, but I don't think so. At any rate, this match is strictly so that Carlito can turn against the LWO. It is interesting to see Andrade as a face. I think he's a natural heel. I think it suits his character better to be a heel. And so, yeah, Andrade being back in a WWE ring is nice, but I don't know how long he'll go as a face. And for Santos Escobar, I think it's time to pull the trigger, move the guy up, give him a U.S. title shot. I think Santos has something there that if they capitalize on it, I think there's a really bright future there. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso also went 11 minutes and 5 seconds. This is all according to the Wikipedia numbers. Uh, I mean, Jey won. You knew Jey was going to win. There wasn't any point in Jimmy winning. There wouldn't have been any point in Jimmy winning. I do hope that Jey Uso gets a singles title at some point, whether that ends up being the Intercontinental title or what happens. But Jey Uso has really done an amazing job considering they're twin brothers. And at points in time, I didn't know who was who, and I didn't really necessarily care when they were a tag team because it doesn't really matter whether it's Jimmy or Jay in the ring. But now that their personalities have really come out, you can see how different they are. And I think Jay really, really has something as a singles star. I don't know if Jimmy has that same, but I don't think Jimmy's been given that chance to shine either. Like they took him out of the bloodline and then put him right back in. So maybe they didn't have an actual plan for when Jimmy left the bloodline. And I don't think they wanted to just put the Usos back together. But anytime it's two brothers against each other, I know the match is going to be pretty safe. And because, I mean, you don't want to hurt your brother. You don't want to have that awkward conversation with mom or dad. So that was the one thing that did surprise me a bit was that they didn't find a way to get any of the elder members of the Fatu family involved in any of this. But at any rate, yeah, Jimmy versus Jay was a pretty good match for what it was, and Jay gets the win. And then you have Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi against Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane, also known as Damage Control. This match was over in 8 minutes and 5 seconds. It was kind of a squash, and I don't know. I don't know if Damage Control is just gonna fall apart now. It feels like the whole Bailey Io Sky storyline's not necessarily done, but I mean, right? And so I don't know what they're doing at this point, other than I don't feel like they're an intimidating group of four ladies. They're gonna have to work on that. I mean, Asuka, I feel bad for too, because Asuka is like she should be a main eventer, and being in a 6-woman tag match. The other side of that too, though, is Bianca Belair. I'm kind of surprised she was in a 6-woman tag here too. I mean, if you had Bianca versus Asuka, that would sell some tickets. But at any rate, it was fine for what it was, but it did come across as a bit of a squash. And I knew Dakota Kai was going to eat the pin in that one. There are certain times where you go, yep, that one, she's going to eat the pin, and she did. Sami Zayn versus Gunther. What a great story. What an absolutely great story. Sami Zayn, the ultimate underdog. I never thought I'd see the day that he held a title in WWE. It's great. Absolutely great. It was 15 minutes and 30 seconds. It was a great match. There was a lot of drama to it. It was the perfect setup match for the main event. Like it was, and it was a really nice feel good moment too. So when we got that nice feel good moment of Sami Zayn winning, was there dread for the next match? I didn't feel dread for the next match. I honestly thought that the faces were going to win. I didn't think we'd have to deal with bloodline rules. But I should have known better, shouldn't I? It was The Rock and Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. This match went 44 minutes and 35 seconds. The drama, the drama, the drama. And it was an absolute schmoz. I do wonder if Cody Rhodes decided on WrestleMania weekend, look, in honor of my departed father, can we do dusty finishes in anything I'm involved with? And dusty finish just basically means it's a mess. Everybody's everywhere. And we got that here and we got that here as well. One guy I did feel bad about, or feel bad for, this weekend is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has been a storyline angle with his back. It's been a storyline issue with a lot of things, a lot of nagging injuries with Seth. I have no doubt that he's been hurt. It just feels like Seth was, I don't know, he wasn't an afterthought in this match, but it's weird because you end night one with Seth Rollins being on the losing end, and then you start night two with Seth Rollins on the losing end. Seth Rollins comes out during the main event, nothing. They gave him nothing. So I do wonder if we're going to see Seth take some time off. There's been rumors about that for a while. So I don't think they need to repackage him, but they really didn't build him up as being a substantial threat to either The Rock or Roman Reigns. And that to me is as close to a fail as I would think that they have with their recent track record, is that Seth has never felt that important as champion. And I think that stems from the fact that the tournament that named that champion was all made up of guys Roman had already beaten. So basically it becomes the, well, Roman beat all these guys title. And so I think it was difficult to build Seth up after that. Hopefully he does take some time off, or hopefully he starts getting booked a little bit more strongly, because it just feels like he hasn't been booked very strongly at all. Going back to the feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, where was Shinsuke for this too? Like, man, Shinsuke should have been on this. Shinsuke Nakamura did some of the best work over the last 12 months in WWE, and he didn't win a feud. He didn't win a feud, but he cut some fantastic promos. He did some great work in the ring. Never won a bloody feud. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing for Shinsuke. But he put on some great action. So it was a 44-minute match. The Rock and Roman end up winning it. And so we knew day two was going to be a bit of a schmoz at the end. I don't know why I thought the faces were going to win. I just figured the Seth and Cody will win. But then we get into day two, and Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins only went 10.5 minutes. So looking at the opening match on day one, goes 17 minutes. This one went 10. I really don't think that Seth Rollins is 100%. And so we'll probably see him take some time off. Then Drew McIntyre went over and started talking some trash with CM Punk. Now, the interesting thing for me was CM Punk took off his arm brace and started beating McIntyre with it. That's not a thing a face does, that's a thing a heel does. So the crowd sounded rightfully confused in that moment. At least to me, it sounded like the crowd was kind of like not sure if they should cheer or boo when the guy's beating another guy with a brace. But then the cash in. Out comes Damian Priest. The crowd loves a good cash in. And in 9 seconds, Damian Priest becomes the new champion, which led to me having mixed emotions. I'm glad Priest cashed in. I'm glad he won. I'm not all that happy that Drew McIntyre held the belt for like 5 minutes. Drew's done some fantastic work. When WWE was here in Vancouver a couple months back, I thought Drew cut an amazing promo in the ring, and it was not seen on TV. It was during the dark match stuff, and I thought he was fantastic. His in-ring work was great. He had a great match with Ricochet, and then he put Ricochet over big time, as talking about how great Ricochet is. Also not on the WrestleMania card. A lot of wrestlers not on the WrestleMania card, both men and women, and there's just too many people right now. Something that AEW has a problem with as well, but I think WWE deals with it better than AEW does. Then we had Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits against the Final Testament. This match went 8.5 minutes, 8 minutes 35 seconds. This feud has been a disaster. This feud has done nothing for anybody that I can tell. And I was a Karrion Kross fan, but yeah, Final Testament, just for some reason it's not clicking. And yeah, Karrion Kross, it's just not working for me. Bobby Lashley needs to be fighting for titles. He needs to be moved up the card. I don't know what you do with the Final Testament at this point. This feud has to be over now, I would think. AOP can go after the tag belts. I think the AOP would win the tag belts in about 3 minutes from A-Town Down Under. But I don't know what you do with the Final Testament. I don't know where Karrion Kross goes. And I mean, it's like Karrion Kross and Scarlett have this amazing look. They have this amazing presence. But then when the match starts, it's just there's something missing, and I don't know what it is. You guys can let me know your thoughts. But yeah, this feud hasn't hit. And I watched the start of it at that SmackDown I went to, where Karrion comes out and there's AOP and everything, and I don't know. The crowd was kind of lukewarm on it in Vancouver too. But at any rate, let me know your thoughts on that one. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. We knew LA Knight was going over here. AJ Styles doing what the veterans are supposed to do for others that are on their way up. In 12 minutes and 25 seconds, he did a good job of making LA Knight look really good. AJ Styles is a fantastic worker. One thing with AJ, too, is he can lose matches. It doesn't diminish his standing in the fans' eyes or anyone else's eyes. There are some wrestlers that when they lose matches, it's like, I guess the push is over, but it's not that way with AJ. So LA Knight needs to be put into a program where he can realistically be contending for a belt. But there are a lot of wrestlers you can say that about right now. And again, it's in both companies where there's a lot of wrestlers that you could say this guy should be in the hunt for a title. Then we had Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. This match went 17 minutes and 40 seconds. Excellent match. Logan Paul ends up retaining. I was actually surprised by that. I thought Kevin Owens was going to win it. But again, Logan Paul holds on to it. Logan Paul, obviously a name that attached to WWE gives it a little, mainstream attention that it otherwise might not get. I did think it was funny that Prime was on the ring for night one, and then they said in our official energy drink sponsor, and I thought, it's going to be Prime. Nope, C4. Take that, Logan Paul. But yeah, you knew at some point in time Kevin Owens and Randy Orton get kind of on one another, and then Logan Paul could just swoop in and get make sure he keeps his title, and that's kind of what happened. So, bit of a predictable result, sure, but it is always entertaining to watch these three-way dances when you have two faces and one heel, and then see the heel come out with the belt. And then Bayley versus Io Sky. This match went 14 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm happy Bayley won. I think that's great because Io Sky's title reign has not been great. And it's not Io's fault at all. I don't think that the WWE, when Io got called up, did a fantastic job of building Io up on her own before she won the title. And for some reason, it doesn't seem to click that well with the audience either. I don't think that Io Sky as a heel necessarily works. I think she's better as a sympathetic babyface. Although, conversely, oddly enough, Bayley, I think, is a much more entertaining heel than she is as a babyface. But I thought it was great that Bayley won. She has done some fantastic work over the last year herself. That storyline with Damage Control is probably not done, but it's pretty close. Maybe Io Sky fights Bayley again at Backlash. Backlash, we're going to see a lot of these done as rematches to blow off the feud and finish it. But for Io, I think they need to maybe package her on her own. Just get her away from Damage Control. And I think the fans will warm up to her when she's allowed to build up on her own. But it is going to be a challenge. It's absolutely going to be a challenge. Because it doesn't feel like it connects that well. You guys can let me know your thoughts. And then Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns went 33 minutes and 25 seconds. And it was gloriously overbooked. It was so well done. It was absolutely one of the best drawn out finishes I've ever seen. Normally watching a match where it's one person coming in and another and another and another, I'd be like, seriously, come on, just get it done. Nope. Jimmy comes out, Jay comes out and ends Jimmy. Solo comes out, Cena comes down, and Solo. Rock comes down, Rock ends Cena, and then Taker. Now, Undertaker didn't feel like dressing up. It feels like he showed up and goes, look, I'm just going to wear the crap I'm wearing. I'm going to go to the ring. I'm going to choke slam him, and then I'm going to leave. And they're like, fine. Can we at least get the cloak on you? I'm not wearing the cloak. I'm just wearing my regular crap. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to leave. So he looked more like Biker Taker than Undertaker. But what a great moment. What I actually laughed at was that Undertaker choke slams The Rock. The lights go out, and when the lights came back up, nobody's in the ring. And I was like, so he's stolen The Rock. The Rock is missing. Nobody said that either. Nobody said, where did they go? It's just we accept that in the Undertaker's realm, he can just make people disappear. And it's okay. It's fine. So Cody Rhodes wins the title, and I was moved to tears. It's so very rare for wrestling to move me to tears. So I'm trying to take notes on a couple of games at the same time as Cody's got his mom in the ring and he's giving her the title and he's hugging Triple H and calling him out. And he had this really nice moment with Michael Cole at ringside too. You could see Michael Cole said, I love you. And just, you could see Corey Graves was tearing up. And, it was just, and again, normally I'd be like, man, this is taking a while. This is a lot of post-match celebration. No, Cody earned this. And I think one thing that if you're on this whole AEW versus WWE thing, which I'm not, I think this event has shown how important it is to have two healthy companies. CM Punk, I don't think would be back in WWE if it wasn't for his run in AEW. So you wouldn't have that. Cody Rhodes made himself a megastar while he was away from WWE. His time in AEW definitely magnified that. Now he's WWE champion. Jade Cargill, I don't think would be a huge draw. She had that really nice strong run in AEW, goes to WWE and makes a name for herself. So we do see like wrestlers going from one company to the other and building that company up. We've seen that with AEW as well. And I think it's great. And this is why I'm so glad there are two companies, and I hope that remains the case. I just don't think AEW, with the way they book things, could have an event anything like this. And it's not about big names. It's about every match makes sense. Every single match had a nice build to it. Clearly, Triple H, just phenomenal work. Phenomenal work running this company. And I'm really, really impressed with what he was able to pull off here. I think this was a fantastic event. It is hard for me to find a match that I say, nah, that wasn't very good. I can find ones that I can say, it felt like filler, like again the Lashley Street Profits against Final Testament. This one here with the 6-woman tag, but it's difficult to have a 6-person tag match work. It is. It's difficult to have a 6-person tag match work. As much as I loved them as a kid, and I did, I loved them when I was a kid. To me, 6-man tag matches were some of my favorites. Watching the former NWA that became WCW. But yeah, so there you go. My WrestleMania 40 review, which I don't think anybody expected because I didn't mention it in any videos on the weekend that I can think of. But yeah, I watched the whole 4 hours and honestly was entertained the whole way through. I do feel bad for Seth. I feel great for Cody. And I also, one thing I was worried about with Cody was that he'd win and then maybe something else might happen. Nope. Kept it nice and clean. Everything was fine. And yeah, it was highly entertaining. We didn't get Stone Cold. We thought we might get Stone Cold. We got Undertaker instead. I'm fine with that. So I will admit, I popped when I heard the gong for Undertaker. So I wasn't spending as much time paying attention to the hockey games. Once that Undertaker gong sounded, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. So yeah, great WrestleMania. And I think it bodes well for the future. What did you think of WrestleMania 40? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you disagree with me on my thoughts on any of these matches, that's fine too. That's one of the wonderful things about the internet. So thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.